Wow, that's surprisingly hard to define. What does it mean to be financially independent? I think being financially independent is not being financially secure until the rest of your life. Being financially independent means to be able to cover all your bills with relative ease, to be able to save at least 10 to 25% of your income into a savings account. It is to have multiple streams of income just in case some of them give out on you. And it is also important to add to this definition that you probably want to be doing something you like to do. Meaning that if you've got financial independence, but you're doing something you hate, or you're doing it with people you hate, or in one way or another, you have to take a concession every day and convince yourself to go to work, that's when I think you've created financial independence you will hate, and you will eventually sabotage it in some way, shape, or form. And you'll even blame it on the money. A lot of people say, well, money is the root of all evil. Money doesn't make you happy. I'd rather be happy than rich and things like that. Well, I think that this definition is off, and this whole perspective is off, because, there's people out there who make a lot of money who are unhappy, but they're not unhappy because they make a lot of money. They're unhappy because they make money in a way, or in a job, or in a business that they don't like, with people or clients that they don't like. So to be truly financially independent, it's not just about being able to handle your bills and to save money and to invest money. I think it's also about choosing something that allows you to live life on your terms. And I think that's an important part of the definition, because the actual question is, what is financial independence? Includes the word independence. Like if we were talking about financial stability is being financially secure. It is, taking care of your bills, but it doesn't necessarily require you to like what you do. Financial independence means no one can tell you what to do, or whatever you do every day, you do it not because someone's telling you to do it, but because you enjoy doing it, or you have some other reason. Financial independence is as much about the independence part as it is about the financial part. I think the only way you can become financially independent is when you go to work for yourself. I don't think you can become financially independent when you work a day job, because for the most part, people who are seeking independence and financial independence, they don't do well when someone else is telling them what to do. Oftentimes, they feel like their superiors are not as intelligent as they are. They oftentimes see a better way of doing things, and they rebel against authority. People who are looking for independence and financial independence usually can only find that when they start their own business, when they go freelancing, when they go and create something, or otherwise provide a service to a group of people, but they do it on their own. They don't do it as a part of a job. There are some people who will cling to a job because they consider that to be a more stable way of making a living. They'll be great at what they do, but they won't take the leap from being an employee to being an independent, either freelancer or business owner. But they could. It's just that the fear is stopping them, and every day they have to deal with all sorts of corporate nonsense and office politics and whatnot. And they don't like that. It's just they don't know a different way. But I think we're now at a point as a society, especially the Western society, where the white collar jobs are going through a big transition. We're seeing more and more people becoming freelancers. We're seeing less and less people building their life around a mission to get a job. We're seeing more and more people getting out of college with paperwork, with degrees that can't really find a job. We're seeing more and more people recognizing that they want to travel just as much as they want to make a lot of money. So they're becoming a part of the digital economy. And with AI, with the AI taking over, I think the white collar jobs are going through a similar revolution as the blue collar jobs went through in the Industrial Revolution. So more and more we'll see layoffs, we'll see people being replaced, we'll see content creators being replaced with software. We'll see copywriters being replaced with software. We'll see designers being replaced with software. I mean, there are very few jobs, or should I say positions or skill sets, that are not in danger. That are safe and secure, with the next 10 to 15 years being pretty much guaranteed to offer a living. But many jobs truly are, and I think the more AI develops, the more it's going to be true. Therefore, all the big companies with insane payroll, with between 1,000 to 10,000 employees, the ones who are providing all these jobs, unless we're talking about hospitals, for example, where there's still a lot of work to be done. But people who have to use the laptop for a living, as a job, they'll find themselves out of a job real soon. And they'll too finally come to grips with the idea that, having a job is not the most secure thing you can have, because they can axe you just like that. And the true security actually comes from recognizing that we're only as secure as our ability to produce income. And I think in a job position, that's not what you're doing. You're not really training yourself. You're not really developing a skill to produce an income. You're developing a skill that someone else finds valuable in that particular point in time, and is compensating you according to a marketplace standard, which changes all the time. And because now, with, say, if you're a graphic designer and you charge $50 an hour, now there's a software that costs $20 a month that can do 80% of what you do. So as far as what it costs to get the same outcome or a similar outcome, that software, it has a leg up on you. Therefore, you no longer need it. You're no longer justified. There's more and more companies now who do things, who choose to do things out house. Back in the day, depending on how difficult any particular job we used to bring things in house. Now the first thing we do is we look outside. We look, into the marketplace. We go on Upwork and, places like that, where we search for either a contractor or a freelancer, or, some small time business, especially overseas, who's willing to do a very complex task for a relatively low amount of money and relatively quickly. So there's no need to hire someone as a full-time employee to do the same thing. So yeah, I think the only way that anyone can achieve financial independence, maybe with 1 out of 100 exception, it is to go and start their own business.